is Shay, and this is my March 2023 language update. This is going to be a really quick one because I am taking about a 10-minute break from studying because the exam season is about to start and I'm going to be very go during that time for studying. My exams are very close together, but I wanted to make sure that I got this video out before it was too late in the month because I wanted to talk about how my language learning went in March of 2023. So there will be more involved videos coming up at the end of the month and then moving forward in the beginning of May, if all goes to plan, because I do have a number of videos scripted, some of them already with parts of them filmed, including a couple of study with me's in Persian, Korean, and Spanish, video on Persian resources that I'm using because I've been asked about that, a video on my journey learning Korean for over a decade, why I'm still bad at it, and what I'm doing to resolve that issue. And I'm also hoping to participate in the 7 days, 40 hours language study challenge being hosted by Joe Renee Languages at the beginning of May. So a whole bunch of things coming down the pipeline, hopefully, if these exams do not completely destroy my ability to do anything. But I wanted to share with you today how March went. So I've already gone on for a little bit. Let's jump right into Spanish. Spanish went super well in March. March was a really flexible month. I just had a lot of time in March, and so I was able to do almost 47 hours of Spanish. That's nearly what I did in January when I was actually aiming to hit 50 hours, and I wasn't aiming for that in March. I just found that now that I've reached a level of Spanish where it's much more comfortable to listen to it, where I can listen to things that are more interesting for an adult, it was a lot easier this month. I also made friends with a girl who's moved to, or I guess a woman, who's moved to my city really recently, who doesn't speak English yet, but does speak Spanish. I was trying to maintain a silent period with my Spanish until I reach a certain number of hours, and I'm not close to that yet. And I am still going to avoid speaking too much Spanish. I'd like to meet up with this friend and do more crosstalk. But I was able to actually establish a good friendship so far with this person completely in Spanish, which is really cool. It's a really nice guidepost on my journey to see that what I'm doing is actually working. And so I don't know how well I just articulated any of that. I had it all planned in my head, but basically I did use some Spanish this month. I actually spent a number of hours speaking Spanish, which was not my intention, but it was really cool to see that it actually was able to serve me as a proper communication tool, not just for understanding, but for me to be understood. So Spanish went really well this month. I didn't do anything differently from what I have been doing, so if you're interested in what I've been doing, you can check out my previous videos. But I just spent more time doing those things, and I didn't mean to, but I reached almost 47 hours, so that was really great. Persian, okay. Persian, I'll start by saying the positive here is that I actually reached my goal this month. I went slightly, just ever so slightly past my goal this month, and that is an improvement over the last 2 months. I did more with Persian this month than I have in previous months, and that is a good thing. So now I'm gonna say a few things about how Persian went that I don't feel so great about, and then I'll circle back to feeling good about it, because I don't want this to feel like a negative update, because it really is a good thing that I reached my goal. I slightly surpassed my goal this month. So obviously, in slightly surpassing my goal, I didn't reach my stretch goal. So I reached just over 12.5 hours, and my goal is 12.5 hours, and my stretch goal is 25 hours. So obviously, if I just went past 12.5 hours, I didn't get anywhere near 25 hours. That's fine. I don't know what that's an alarm for. I'm at my parents' house, if you're wondering why the background is different. I don't know what that was for, but hopefully it's not important. So obviously I didn't reach my stretch goal. That is fine. The reason that it feels disappointing is that I was actually doing a lot of Persian at the beginning of the month. I was on track to reach my stretch goal. It was something that was very doable. And so that's why it's a bit disappointing, because I finished the mini stories, the spoken mini stories on Link, and I was feeling really good and motivated, and I was getting a lot done. And then I tried to listen to something else, and I found I wasn't understanding. And instead of taking that as a sign to go back to stuff that was a little bit easier and just keep going, I let myself get frustrated and I stopped spending as much time on Persian. And so that's why that feels disappointing, because instead of just saying, okay, well, I need to do more with simpler stuff, I let myself get frustrated, and then I stopped that momentum that would have let me reach the number of hours that I would have liked to have reached. So that's fine, it is what it is. To come back to the positive, I did reach my goal. This is the first time that I've done that for Persian, and so that means that that was an improvement on what I've done previously, and so hopefully that means moving forward I can continue to improve in that way. Okay. Korean, I feel more excited talking about, and actually this is also part of the reason I think why I did less Persian. I knew I had something coming up at the end of the month for Korean, and so I was feeling more motivated to spend time with Korean this month, and I did spend a lot more time with Korean this month. So this past month I did, let's take a look at my numbers here. I did 14.39, so about 14 and a half, just lower than 14 and a half hours of Korean. My goal every month is to do 6.25 hours, so obviously that is well above, it's more than double what my goal was for Korean for the month. And it actually pushed me to just pass, because I hadn't met the goal in previous months. I wasn't on track for my overall goal for the year, and I've just passed the threshold for being on track for the year. So that was really exciting. And the reason that that happened with Korean was that my local language exchange has 2 days a week where they meet up. One is really casual, and it's in a bar environment, so people have a beer and chat, and there's a lot of English practice that happens. It's in a lot of ways it's more of a culture exchange, so it's a little bit less serious. But on the other day each week there is a more serious language meetup that's targeted for a specific language. So usually it rotates, 1 week Spanish, 1 week French, 1 week German, 1 week ASL. But this past month there were 5 Wednesdays, and so the organizer decided to have the 5th Wednesday be Korean. And it was very, very kind of him to do, but suddenly I was faced with the fact that I have not done almost any Korean in a really, really long time. And I didn't want to show up after years of being like, I want to be able to practice Korean, only to not have any Korean skills at all. So I was feeling more motivated this month to spend time with Korean, to sharpen up, polish up my skills a little bit in Korean. And so that's what I did. And I started with content that was below my level. I talked about this a little bit, I think, in my previous videos this year, that even though I am familiar with lots of intermediate concepts in Korean, I know lots and lots of vocabulary in Korean, the real issue that I have with Korean is that I haven't spent nearly enough time putting it all together. I haven't spent enough time with comprehensible input material, basically, is the, I don't know if a cloud just went over the sun or what, but it suddenly got way darker in here, which is very spooky. So basically, I needed to, or I wanted to work on integrating those things, and rather than starting with stuff that was really intermediate, I thought I'll start with stuff that is at a lower level than I think I need to be at, and that will be good because it will be giving me that flow of language, but with stuff that I really clearly understand already. And it worked really well. I started with a couple of YouTube channels. It was also a really great opportunity for me to find new materials that didn't exist when I started Korean that I really liked. So I would love to share those things, probably in that other Korean video I talked about at the beginning that I have on my radar for making. But I'm getting a little long-winded here, so I found some YouTube channels, as well as I found a podcast that was really simple to understand. All of the grammar they used, all of the words they used were things that I already knew, but it was good to have it all be put together, and it actually really improved my confidence in listening to stuff that was more complex, more intermediate in Korean. So that was really great. I think that's all I have to say about it. That meetup went really well, by the way. It ended up being more of a situation of me teaching some basic Korean concepts to some folks, but that was really fun. And so the only other things I want to share are what I think this month is going to look like this April, because I am in exams, as well as something I made up that I want to talk about really briefly. So I'll talk about these first. These are laminated sheets that I did up based on the sheets that Pablo uses in his Dreaming Spanish videos. And that was because I wanted to do crosstalk this month. I wanted to start doing some crosstalk. And I'm also thinking about maybe doing some English videos where I speak maybe less quickly and less confusedly. This is a really good example of what I'm talking about. More clearly, a little bit more slowly, evenly, in the style of Dreaming Spanish, but we'll see if that's something I can do a few months from now. But these I made up to do crosstalk, and I was really excited about them, so I just wanted to share those briefly. I'll talk about those in more detail if anybody is interested, but I just wanted to have a record of that was this past month that I created those. I have a few over there as well that are maps of Canada and stuff like that, because that's where I'm located. And then the other thing is for April, what am I expecting to happen? I am expecting that in April I'm not going to hit a lot of my goals, and that's something I'm just aware of now. I have a good number of exams. They're actually going to take a lot of work to study for. In fact, I'm past my 10-minute mark I had given myself for recording, and so I really do need to get back to it. But I'm not anticipating that I am going to hit all of my goals. I do think that I'll hit my Spanish goal, just because I aim for about an hour a day, and it's not hard for me to hit that. When I'm taking a break and eating lunch, to listen to a Spanish podcast isn't burdensome for my brain. It's not adding more stress to my brain in the way that I sometimes feel like Korean, not so much either. Persian though, I still do find that it tires me out to listen for a long time. But I do think I'll probably hit my Spanish goal, and maybe I'll hit my Korean goal just because it's low, but I don't think I will surpass that. But I'm preparing myself now that I don't really expect to hit my Persian goal this month. We'll see after I'm done my exams if maybe I have all of this energy and I am able to just spend all of my time listening. Who knows? It's possible that I will hit those goals, but I want to prepare myself now that it's okay if I don't, that I had a really successful March, that I will have the whole year ahead of me after that. And so I want to make sure I touch on all of my languages this month a little bit. I don't want to go the whole month and then have 0 hours of any language, but I'm not going to be so, like, this month was really I did about 70 hours of language study this month, which, not study, but of language learning this month, which is a lot for me. It's not for everybody. For me, that's a lot in a month. And I know that this upcoming month isn't going to look that way, and that's okay. This month, I really, at the very end of the month, tried to hit that Persian goal, and I did try with Korean to get all caught up on that goal. So this upcoming month isn't going to be like that, is basically what I'm trying to say. And that's okay. So I am seeing that I'm a little bit over time, but I hope that it was a good update, that you have an idea of what I did this month, and I hope that you hang around and see what videos I have in store, because I know these last few have just been language updates, and that's fine, and I like them. I watch them when people post them, but I also like a variety of content. I would like to make a variety of content. I've started to make a variety of content, but just right now, I've got, unfortunately, a bunch of audit and tax stuff that I've got to look at. That's a lot less fun, but a little bit more necessary. So, all that being said, I am going to head out. Thank you for hanging out with me today and checking out my update. I will see you at the end of April, beginning of May. Bye. I'm just trying to get a thumbnail. I really have to go. Bye.